Hey yo, what is up? TL1 LPC is out on sale today. I made a video about this tank when it first came out 2.5 years ago. If you want to take a look at that video, I'll leave a link for you guys on the top right corner of this video, and you can go check it out. Where that would be my reaction video the first time I played this tank. But anyway, this tank, let me tell you everything what this tank isn't about first. Okay, I'll tell you all the bad things about this tank before I tell you all the good things about this tank. First of all, this tank is a terrible crew trainer. The only tank the only crew that you can drop into this tank that will fit perfectly is the auto-loading medium tank from the American Tech Tree, which is the T69, the Tier 8 T69 and the Tier 9. Those are the only tanks that will have the crew that can drop straight into this tank, because this is a 4-man crew tank, which means the situational awareness on the radio man is in the commander, not because this tank does not have a radio man. So that is the problem. If you have a pattern, if you have any other medium tank, you won't be able to train the crew well, because you won't have situational awareness unless you spend some gold on it or something like that. So that is one of the bad things about this tank. Also, I guess that's the only bad thing I can really say about this tank. Other than that, this tank is pretty okay. It's pretty good actually, in my opinion. I really liked it when it first came out because this tank has incredible premium shell penetration. Now, normally premium shells on medium tanks are like APCR. Your standard shells are like AP, and then your premium shells are APCR. This carries heat, but the special thing about this heat shell is it has 1220 meters per second shell velocity, very high velocity heat shells, premium shells, and the penetration of 280 millimeters on this heat shells. That is insane. The problem is the standard penetration, which is the AP shell, is only 208 penetration on the standard AP shells, which in 2022 standard isn't that much, considering all the tanks nowadays have 220 penetration or something like that for standard shells. But yeah, if you want to credit grind in this tank, if you want to crew train in this tank, this is not the tank for you. Okay, this tank is an all-out you're not going to make any credits playing this tank, because you want to be making use of those premium heat shells with 280 penetration and 1220 meters per second shell velocity. That's what this tank is about, and you get 9 degrees of gun depression, which is a plus on this tank. The turret armor on this tank is 178 millimeters, so you get a little bit of protection with the turret. The hull, if you notice, it is a Chieftain hull. The other tanks that share the same kind of hull is the American Tier 10 reward tank, T95E, whatever you call it, I can't remember the name, and the other one is the Tier 8 reward, bring a friend reward tank from a long time ago. Share the same hull design as this tank, but the hull is actually not that great, to be honest with you. The armor is all at the turret, but you do have a little bit of tumor in your cupola, which is where that tiger finally knows where to shoot me at. So I'm shooting his cupola, he's shooting my cupola, and I am down to one shot, doing only 1385 damage so far in this game. We are 5 tanks up, we are 3900 hit points up, but I am a one shot. Basically, I traded all my HP for the same amount of HP that I got, so I've done 1300 damage. I've blocked 850 so far, but this tank only has 1400 hit points. So basically I gave up all my HP just to get the same amount of HP. I've got to be super careful right now. That IS3 version 2 can easily pop over and kill me, but he is being absolutely passive. So I've got no choice. I am a one-shotter, so I need to bide my time and just sit this one out, wait for them to make a mistake before I can poke up and take maybe pot shots. If I can get a little bit of damage, I will try. The downside about this tank is the 280 alpha damage. It is better than a Type 59 that only does 250 damage. It is better than a T44 100 that only does 250 damage. But the CS52 LIS does 320, so this loses out to that CS52 a little bit. But this does have 9 degrees of gun depression, so if you use this tank and you take it to a position like this where you can make use of 9 degrees of gun depression and you can find a way to protect your cupola, which is your weakest point in your tank, then you have an opportunity to farm out some damage and do pretty well in this tank. One thing you see me play in this tank is the heavy tank role. You can see me taking up a position where normally heavy tanks go, tanks with gun depression. It doesn't matter if you are fighting against enemy heavies or not, as long as you get into positions where you can make use of that 9 degrees of gun depression. That is where this tank is going to excel. You don't have very high top speed. You don't have the top speed of of other medium tanks, high mobility medium tanks, but you do have reasonable power to weight ratio. The hull traverse on this tank is 48 degrees per second, which makes it left right jiggle pretty good in that aspect, but you don't have the kind of mobility that other medium tanks have. You can see me here struggling in this kind of positions where I need to traverse over soft terrain. It is pretty bad, but it is not like a super fast medium tank in terms of mobility, but you can rotate the hull pretty quickly, so you do feel like it does have a little bit of agility, but it is not the quickest tank out of all the medium tanks, which is why I feel like this tank is more of a heavy medium. You want to take up positions that are supporting other heavy tanks in your team, make use of your hull down position and fire your premium shells almost all the time, because your premium shells are the one that's giving you 280 penetration, 280 damage. Your standard shells only 280 penetration, not really good. So that is my take on this tank. If you're thinking of buying this tank, don't think about crew training, because this is a bad crew trainer. Okay, really bad crew trainer and really bad at making credits, because you want to be firing your premium shells almost all the time because of its 280 millimeters of heat penetration, which is the strength of this tank. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.